mean, it's just making the little habits. Then, once you start making one little habit, then make another one, and make another one. And it just kind of, you can't do it all at once.
Chicken trucking, big wheels there humming, high rate of fuel consumption, missing mama, needing loving, rolling with the weight of sound. Running like the southern shaker, I don't need no 40 acres to turn this rig around.
Welcome back to Trucking Fitness Radio, the #1 driver's health and fitness podcast in the world. And we're here to make the trucking industry a healthier place. My name is Mark Monera. I'm the founder and CEO of the Trucking Fitness Company. And welcome to episode 3. We're getting this podcast rolling, and I'm excited for this podcast episode because if you haven't listened to the first two, first off, what the heck? Go back and listen to it. But it's just been me talking, and that gets boring sometimes. And today we have our first ever guest on the show, which I'm pumped about. But before I introduce you to our guest, if you didn't go listen to the first two, go do that. But I talked about how we are actually getting drivers on the podcast and giving you or another driver you know the opportunity to either come on and get one-on-one help from me. You can ask specific questions. And I'll give you my 100% focus on helping you find solutions and get the best plan for living a healthy life on the road. We also want to hear from drivers who have made a big transformation on their own. I can't tell you how many times I post a video on Facebook or TikTok and someone comments and says, I'm down 50 pounds or I've lost 100 pounds in the last 3 years. And, first off, I want to say, hell yeah, this is awesome. Great job. Keep it up. I'm pumped to hear those. But I think, if you've gone through that or you've had a big weight loss transformation or just found a way to stay healthy on your own on the road, you can really help to inspire hundreds, thousands of other drivers out there by just telling your story. And we really want to give you that platform to come on and share that. So if you fall into either of those categories, you want some help, or you just want to tell your story and help inspire other drivers to go out and do it on their own, we want to hear from you. Go to the link in the show notes, or you can jump on to truckinfit.com/radio. So truckinfit.com/radio, and you can fill out our show application. It literally only takes 3 minutes. And as we grow more and more, it's going to be harder and harder to come on the show because more drivers are going to be interested. So if you are here on episode 3, when it releases, welcome and congrats to being early. We want to reward you by getting you on the show and helping you out. But like I was saying, I'm excited for our first guest on the show today. Jeremy, welcome to the Trucking Fitness Radio.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, to give a little bit background to everyone, Jeremy, you and I we go way back. Before I launched the trucking. Say that one more time.
No, beginning of last year, right?
Yeah, because it was before I started the Trucking Fitness Company, before it went public, we had a beta test group of about 20 drivers who ran the program, gave us a bunch of feedback, and you were part of that group, and it's pretty awesome. So I consider you an OG member of the Trucking Fitness Company, and because you've been there since the start. So I really don't think there's a better guest than you for the first person ever on the Trucking Fitness Radio. So give the people at home or the drivers going down the highway a little background on yourself.
Okay. Originally, I started trucking over the road, and I transferred over to local. I was originally OTR when I first started the truck with the program with you.
Yeah.
So then I switched over to local, which it's different for sure. It has definitely different challenges about doing exercise and eating better. They both have different challenges. I think it was easier to exercise on the road, but the food part of it's easier now.
Yeah, when you're at home every night, I get that. And well, I guess to give everyone, so before you even started trucking's not your first career, right? You got into trucking after working in a couple of different industries, and then you decided, hey, you wanted a little freedom, you wanted to change of pace, and you started over the road, right?
Basically, my first job when I was 16, I stayed there for 14 years, but I just moved up in the company,
Gotcha.
and I went all the way up from insider to a driver to a GM to a TGM. Then I was like, I'm tired of this. So many people to be responsible for, and it was a lot nicer just to be responsible for myself.
Yeah, and then so when you started, have you been with the same trucking company since you started, or have you shifted around?
Uh, I've only been with two.
Two. Okay.
So the first one was Pride Transport, and the one I'm at now is Napa Transportation.
Napa. And so you were driving Napa, and that was out of West Coast, right? You were in like Utah
Uh,
area.
yeah, that was Pride Transport.
Oh, that was Pride. Okay. And then whenever you moved and now you're in the Virginia area doing local for Napa.
Yes. Yeah, I
Awesome.
mean, for a local, I drive pretty far.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I'll go all the way into like around Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, North Carolina to Baltimore. Well, that one's always an interesting one to do.
Yeah. So I guess when you saw we were going for the beta test, I guess what, a year and a half ago, like you said, what kind of made you jump and say, hey, I wanna try this out. I wanna see what this is all about.
I was already in the process of trying to lose weight. I mean, pretty much my whole process as a truck driver, I was trying to do that because my last job, I was just, even though it was pretty active, uh, it was very stressful. So I put on a lot of weight then. So I just wanted something, to really help me along, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing, and like you said, the stress aspect is like you're so stressed throughout the day. Obviously, like you said, there's some jobs in trucking that are a little bit more physical, but when you're driving down the highway and you're driving for 8 hours, it's not a super physical job, but it's mentally taxing, and
Yeah.
you're stressed out. You have to pay attention all day, but the hardest part about some of the times exercising is just getting started. And one of the barriers that makes it even difficult to get it started is what the heck am I supposed to do? So just having some guidance, having someone there just to talk to, I'm sure was one of the reasons too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that helped a lot. So,
Well, and I think because we talk all the time with the weekly group calls, but what were you trying to do before we got started with the beta test? Were you doing anything specific or just saying, hey, I need to make a change and maybe trying to eat a little healthier?
it was more like I was always starting that process on my own. It's just it needed to get a jump. Like it was it was moving slowly along. It just
Yeah,
needed to start moving a little bit faster.
gotcha. And so when you were over the road, and I guess now, and let's talk over the road and then you can talk local. What is like the biggest struggle with your health just when you're on the road?
Biggest health struggle. I mean, if you get sick, it's like you're just stuck on the truck. If so it's not like it's easy for you to go somewhere to go to a doctor or whatever. It's better than it used to be. Like you got virtual ones now, and there's some
Yeah.
truck stops that have a urgent care. So on those lines, it's better than it used to be.
What about when it comes to like trying to exercise or eat healthier? Like, is there something specific that just is it the time that you're having to work? Is it just the facilities that you don't have access to? What do you feel like is the biggest struggle there?
Uh, I mean, it's more difficult because in the truck you don't have one in the waddle, so it's
Yeah.
a little bit harder to like to clean your dishes that you use. Stuff. Anything you would think, oh, I need waddle for, or I need to wash this or cook this. It makes it a little bit more difficult. But it's definitely you can definitely do it. it's not impossible.
Yeah, and
So
and that's something I never even yeah, I feel like isn't talked about a lot is just like, yeah, you can cook, but then you have to clean up afterwards, and how the hell are you going to do that, right? And and then you get sweaty working out. What are you going to do? Shower? Are you going to go pay for a shower every single day, or how does that all work? And I think that makes it really difficult for a lot of drivers. But I guess from the switch over, because you kind of mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast, but when you switched over to driving local, you kind of mentioned that, when you were driving over the road, there was a lot more time that you had after you got done driving. I guess more time to find exercise, time to exercise, but the local part's been easier to eat more healthy. Is that correct?
yeah.
Gotcha.
So I mean, if I get done early on my days at local, then I mean I can go anywhere I want to go. But a lot of my days tend to be a lot longer being local than it was over the road.
Gotcha. And is that because of just like the multiple stops and then the time that you're
Yeah,
sitting there at each stop? Yeah.
yeah, it just adds up. So I mean, as over the road, I would go from California to Pennsylvania, and I could do 600 miles in 11 hours. So I still have 14 hours left of the day. You're not gonna sleep for 13 hours. Well, you shouldn't sleep. I would hope
Yeah.
for 13 hours. I know people that will do that, but I was like, it's not me.
Gotcha. And then but then with over the road, you parked for the day, and I think you mentioned you're an you like to get up, early, get started, so you were parked and you could find a spot at the truck stop, right?
Yeah, yeah. And most of the time that worked out good because that means I wasn't like walking around outside at dark.
Yeah.
I could actually see stuff. It's that way. It's less of a safety issue. Like people can see me, I can see them. So
Gotcha. And so I guess what do you like local more than OTR? Do you like different aspects of each of them? What's your preference?
I I like different aspects of both of them.
Okay.
So it's like sometimes I miss being over there, but at the same time, it's like I really like having my bed every night.
It definitely helps you sleep better, I'm sure. So I guess if you were sitting here, you've been on this journey of living a healthier life. What has in the last year or so you feel like has been a game changer or something that you've started doing since starting the trucking fitness company that was not on your radar or something you didn't even think about beforehand when you're trying to live a healthier life out there?
I mean, it's just making the little habits. Then, once you start making one little habit, then make another one and make another one. And it just kind of you can't do it all at once. And if you try to do it all at once, you're more likely to fail, I believe, at
Oh my
it.
God. Yeah. And so, okay, so you feel like the smaller habits building up is much better than in the past when you've tried to do it all at once and, do this huge diet plan.
Yeah, have done it all at once. So it's like, oh yeah, I mean, it was great for like a couple months. So it's like, oh my god, I'm like, what am I doing?
Well, dude, a couple months is a lot longer than a lot of people last, so that's pretty solid. I'll give you that. But so I guess if you were gonna give one piece of advice, about living a healthier life on the road to drivers out there, what would it be?
Mm, I would probably say for over the road people, like try to be what's the word I'm looking for? Like consistent
Yeah.
with whether it's walking or whatever, like something that's active. Like just make sure it's consistent. I mean, walking is a great start. That's what I did mainly. Or I also one thing I would always try to plan my resets to like some a cool location. Well, maybe I could either get an Uber somewhere or I get an Uber to go get a rental car and just find somewhere like the go hike normally is what I would do. It's like if I was on Salt Lake City, they got all those mountains
Oh my
surrounding it.
gosh. Yeah.
So I mean, it's like go find something to do that you like that's physical. Like
That's yeah. Go on.
uh oh, now it just lost my train of thought.
No, I'm sorry. No worries. No, but I think I think you kind of hit the nail on the head there because I think a lot of people have this expectation of like, well, if I'm going to exercise, I have to do this. And it's more so, like you just said, like going hiking, find something if you like getting, lifting or doing some exercises like that, that's great. But the biggest thing for anyone is the consistency, doing if you do an increment of say you get 1 unit every single day versus trying to go for a unit of 10 in one day and then that's all you do for the whole month. Like obviously the small thing builds up really quickly. And where's the coolest place that you've ever hiked?
Oh, the coolest place I ever hiked. Oh my goodness, that's a tough one. Because I've tried to go hiking in most of the states actually. Well, all the states I've ever had to do reset in anyway. Uh, I mean, this, probably around Salt Lake City.
Okay.
Like, because there's so many mountains to choose from. To whichever way you go, you got to hit mountains, and those are trails somewhere on them.
Yeah.
So it's like choose, just point in a direction and go, and you'll hit one.
Yeah, and I guess when you said that when you parked and then get an Uber to some place, I've never heard of anyone doing that. Is that pretty popular? Do a lot of people do that? I know the other option is like, have you ever done like get Instacart delivered, groceries delivered to you when you park? I mean, how common are some of those things when you've been out on the road?
I don't know about Instacart, how common that is. I never seen anyone use that, but I have seen people use like DoorDash and definitely use Uber and like in the areas that have it. Like not every single area has it. So
Yeah. Gotcha.
like like your small cities won't have it. Like
Yeah.
well some of the truck stops are, but some of them do. Uh I don't. I know I used to take Ubers was either normally to get a rental car or go to like a store that wasn't too far away and go get groceries that way.
Gotcha. And now you said I know some truck stops even have trails at the truck stop, right?
A few,
Okay.
even a few of them have like a gyms. A few of them. I've seen a couple, not very many, but a couple.
Hotel gyms,
Oh,
right? I mean, better than nothing, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So
no, I think it's awesome. Well, Jeremy, do you have any other wisdom to put on to the drivers listening to this right now that you'd recommend for anyone out there?
wisdom, just stay consistent. Try to find find something that you like that's physical to do. And I mean, you might need to do more physical stuff than just what you like, but I think that'll be the best way to start and find a support system and figure out why exactly you want to do it. It's like, am I doing this for myself? Am I doing it for someone else? It's like, figure out why you want to do it.
I love that. Yeah, I completely agree. And I think if you find, your real why and figure out, the deep meaning behind why you actually want to make a change, and you consistently, like you said, consistently show up and you consistently think about that why, I think it goes a long way in you sticking to the plan and sticking to, the long haul of this whole journey of, becoming a healthier you. So Jeremy, thank you so much for coming on. People listening, if you are going down the highway and you're like, man, I've got some wisdom I want to put on to some drivers out there from my experience, or hey, I'm trying to do this whole live a healthier life on the road, but I need some help and I want to talk to someone. Well, we are here to talk and we are here to give advice. And Jeremy is a great example of, one of the awesome members at the Trucking Fitness Company. And if you're interested in joining, you can go at truckingfit.com and sign up, or just look up the Trucking Fitness Company on any social media or Google and you can find us. And if you want to come on the show and get advice or tell your story, truckingfit.com/radio. Fill out our application. It takes 3 minutes. We really want to get you on the show. Jeremy, thank you so much for taking time and talking with us.
No problem with it. It was a good show.
Awesome. Thank you so much for listening.
Trucking, big wheels there humming, high rate of fuel consumption, missing mama, needing loving, rolling with the weight of sound. Running like the Southern Shaker, I don't need no 40 acres to turn this rig around. I'm jacked up like a Chevy, but ain't heading to the levee. Lord have mercy sakes alive. On this high step and double clutching, gear jamming, chicken trucking, old school